What's going on, gang? Welcome to episode 32 of the Freedom Seekers podcast. Today I got a special guest, one of my good friends, one of my homies, Andrew Holmes.
Oh, yeah, man.
Andrew is an online fitness coach, an in-person trainer, group class coach, and macros coach. Andrew has a passion for teaching and helping people achieve their goals and shifting their mindsets. Yo, bro, how long... where did I even meet you, man? This is, like we said, it's long overdue, but...
Dude, all the way back to the beginning? Where did I meet you? Dude, years ago, bro. Probably, what, did I meet you in high school? You're friends with Billy. So, context, he's best friends with my best friend, one of my best friends, Billy Floyd. Shout out, Bill. So that's probably where I met you, probably like senior year, junior year of high school. And then... Remember I saw you in Boston that one time?
Yo, yes.
We both lived in Boston at the same time. Randomly saw him at a bar once. Crazy.
Yo, actually.
What were you doing out there again? You working for
I was working...
MLB, right?
I had an internship with the Boston Bruins back then.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick, bro. Small world, right? That seems like a lifetime ago.
Literally a lifetime.
Hell yeah, man.
Yo, I've known this man for a little while then, because back then Boston was
2019,
Yeah, 2019, bro.
Yeah.
So I've known this man for a while. We have a really good mutual friend. His name is Billy Floyd. Holmes has been a guy that I've been chilling with and doing fitness with, and low-key on the come up with the online fitness stuff and fitness in general with starting everything. And again, it got started off at Meta.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah. I mean, you were a huge inspiration to me, like, with you just sending it, honestly. Like, we both started at the same time. We're both interns at the same time, so we communicate. This was like COVID. Right when COVID was like getting over with, we were both interns. I remember we were talking like on Facebook, and we'd be in those groups and stuff. And then I went back to my grad school to finish my internship, and you started. And then when the time I got back, you were already gone.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit.
I was quick, bro. I figured out fairly quickly that wasn't the route I wanted to take.
Yeah.
We'll dive into it, bro. But dude, it's so good to fucking have you on, man.
Yeah, man.
Finally
Pumped
getting
up, bro.
together. But yeah, bro. So for real, if you could like just bring us to this point in time, obviously, like we said, like you were in Boston, the Meta, but just take us through the story about like how we got to this point in time where you're doing the online fitness coaching. At this point in time, gang, like follow this man on Instagram, and I'll attach Andrew's links. But like this man makes incredible content. He's an absolute beast of a human being.
Thank you,
Like
bro.
he's taught me so much over the years with different workouts and exercises and mobility, which I want to get into as well.
Yeah.
For sure, this man is an absolute killer when it comes to mobility. But yeah, bro, if you could just take us through the the journey, that'd be amazing.
Cool, dude. So I'll start. So obviously I grew up in the area, Capital Region, grew up in Colony, went to Shaker. Played basketball was my first love. Played for my father growing up in high school. My father was a coach for 30 plus years, come from a family of coaches. My grandfather, my brother's currently coaching at Tufts. My uncle coached Division III basketball. Like I said, my grandfather was a legendary high school basketball coach. So I come from a family of teachers and coaches, which is instilled in me to this day. I love teaching. It comes very natural to me. I love, figuring out different ways to get my point across so they can, one, make necessary adjustments, and two, have them retain the information. So I feel like that, again, comes naturally. My mom's a teacher as well. So played for my dad in high school, played college ball downstate, small Division III school called Mount St. Mary College, a little Catholic school, Newburgh, New York. Played 4 years there. During that time, I found my love for fitness. I loved just like lifting after practice. I found it helped. Obviously, it helped with my basketball game, but honestly, it was just a mental break. I loved going in there and just working on myself, working on my body. I found like basketball felt like I still love basketball, but it was like my job. You know what I mean? Like it was like playing with a team and stuff. So I found my love for fitness. And then during college, I actually tore my labrum in my shoulder. Right, I was playing in a men's league in the summer, going into my junior year. Tore my labrum. Doctor gave me the option to either rehab it for a month and then I'll be good to go, but if it pops out again, probably have to get surgery or just get surgery right away. I opted to just rehab it, play my season. Preseason, my junior year, I was playing the best basketball of my life, and then the second game of my junior year, I swiped at a ball, and it popped in and out.
Oh shit.
And I mean, it's Division III basketball. For those who don't know, there's no scholarships, athletic scholarships, so I was paying to go there. So in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to sit out the rest of the season. I'm like wasting my money at that point. So I played hurt, played a little hobble, but like during that whole process, I just found like a whole appreciation just for my health in general, just to be healthy, just to be functional. Honestly, like you just, unless you get injured, in my opinion, like you take that for granted, especially athletes. But fast forward after the season, finished out the year academically, and then got surgery that summer or that May. So I was out 6 months. And again, during that whole process, I obviously couldn't lift, couldn't run, couldn't do a lot. Honestly, I was on a stationary bike for an hour and a half a day trying not to get fat.
Holy shit.
But it just shifted my perspective, man, of just embracing just the ability to just be healthy and just be able to move both my arms, right? Got cleared, took the rehab, treated it like training, played my whole senior year. Had a decent year. Obviously, I didn't have a summer to prepare for it, which kind of stinks, but I just embraced being a part of the team, the brotherhood, the camaraderie of being a part of a basketball team. And then that spring, had an internship at a gym where I shadowed a trainer at All Sports Fitness Club in Fishkill, New York. And then I just had a vision for myself. Obviously I had fitness goals, but I had a vision for myself. Like I want to keep building on where I left off because obviously like I plateaued when I got hurt. And then post-college, I was in the basketball world, so I had an internship with the Dallas Mavericks, which was sick, down in Dallas for 9 months. Luka Doncic's rookie year, Dirk Nowitzki's freshman year. Last year, Dirk Nowitzki's last year, which was awesome. I saw how the high performers work. Was around a bunch of strength coaches, which was a great, just being on the fly on the wall. Greatness works on a day-to-day basis. So after that, worked for a gym down in Long Island for about 5 months, did some basketball training. Throughout this whole time, still fitness was still my outlet, was still my escape. Basketball was like my job. Fitness was my escape. Went to grad school out in Boston where I saw you. I just got there. I think that was my first weekend there. It was in Weston, Mass, called Regis College, about 10 miles outside of Boston. Was an assistant coach, grad assistant for a year, and I was also a strength conditioning intern. So I worked with the strength conditioning coach, worked with all the sports. Loved coaching, man. Like I loved being like a big bro to all my guys at Regis. That was great. Had 1 full season there. Had a pretty good year, made the playoffs. And then COVID happened, so then we went home. And when I was at home, I needed an internship for my grad school, and I got an internship at Metabolic. Honestly, I fell in love with it because I knew it would just make me a better communicator. 2, there's so many just great trainers there that just know how to get the most out of people, which I admired. I knew if I worked there, those skills would just increase in my end.
Could you explain like what? So Metabolic is essentially it's a type of group. Is like a group classes. A lot of people on the outside would call it HIIT, but like they call it like strength training at a pace. But could you like explain a little bit more, like like what that type of workout is great for from the client perspective, but then also just dive in a little bit more about what you learned from the coaching perspective.
Got you. So like, it's a pretty workout style. So they call it strength training at a pace. So essentially, you have an indicator lift of the day. It's a true strength training program. So let's say like your indicator lift is like a Bulgarian split squat, right? So that's your indicator, and then there's a bunch of accessory movements to to complement that indicator lift. So like you're not going to get a heavy leg next to a heavy leg, right? So it might be a Bulgarian split squat to a push up to a band bicep curl to a TRX. So it's like station by station, full body every day, 45 minutes in and out. People love it because you're basically like, it just takes the thought out of it. You show up, you do what you're told, you get your ass kicked, you get everything pulled out of you, and you're out, which I liked. It's very efficient, it's very fast, your heart rate's up, you're doing strength training. There's about 36 people in the class, 36 to 42. And from a coaching perspective, I liked it because it just forced you to think on the fly, it forced you to coach on the fly, it forced you to just be efficient with your words. Obviously, it takes time to be a good coach. It took months. I felt like I wasn't a good coach until 6 months in. But again, what drew me to that is seeing so many people on a daily basis and like having to know their name and having to know something about them. It just forced me to be a better communicator because I'm naturally very introverted. So it forced me to be an extrovert, which would draw me to that. Like, it was so far out of my comfort zone, but I knew if I wanted to be a good trainer, I would have to have those skills, which I'm super grateful for to this day. But again, from the coaching perspective, like learning how to pull the most out of people is what I really took away from that. Learning how to squeeze 3 reps out of someone on the chest press or a push-up, because that's where the gains are made. Like working 1 to 3 reps of failure, that's how you build muscle. So learning the process of that, like learning like when to ramp someone's weight, like how much to ramp someone's weight. And obviously it's trial and error a lot of the time, learning how to correct someone's form without having them feel discouraged, right? So just those little techniques I took from that. And it was honestly, I worked there for 2.5 years. I was head trainer at my location for the last 6 months I was there. The reason I left is I've always wanted to program for myself or program for other people. That's like my passion. I love making workouts. And I want just more control over their process, because like we know, like working out is what, 45 hour a day, hour and a half maybe. What are you doing the other 23 hours? Like how are you helping your progress or hurting your progress? And I wanted just more control of that, more of a one-on-one experience. But I got nothing but love for that place. Again, it made me the person I am, made me the trainer I am. Obviously I have a long way to go. I'm only like 2-3 years in. But again, just learning how to deal with multiple things at once, learning how to like control, like it's basically controlled chaos, dude. Like there's you got one mic, there's 36 people doing exercises. It's like, how can I control the room? How can I see everything? So it's like a game, man. It was fun, man. It taught me a lot, and I'm eager to get back into that one day. But so yeah, man, I left in October, launched my online training business with my guy Matty O. Shout out Matty, works for EDST, helped me launch. And I've been working towards that ever since. It's July now, so I'm about 6 months in, a little over 6 months, 6 to 8 months in. I'm just building, man. That's where I'm at.
Bro, I absolutely love it, man. I love the journey. Like, obviously, man, like, you've had so many experiences where it comes from, like, working under people, like, whether it's the internship, like, working under these, I mean, watching the high performers, like, at the Mavericks, like, super early on, you were able to see the type of work, effort, and energy that it requires to achieve greatness, man.
Yeah, bro.
And it's been a hell of a journey, and it's very obvious you've continued to hone your craft like this entire time through every situation you've put yourself in, whether it was something that you had a little bit of experience in or totally out of your comfort zone, which is fucking amazing, bro. Dude. But I'm hyped to have you on the pod too, bro, because I rebranded the podcast a little bit to the Freedom Seekers podcast, and two reasons of that is, one, because I want to help people with physical freedom, because I feel if you're not free to move in your body the way that you want to, what type of life is that? If you're not free to have the agility, to have the strength, to be able to live like that all around high quality functionality type life, what the hell is the point of this? One. And another aspect of the Freedom Seekers is to have that career freedom. And one of the main ways to have that career freedom is by starting your own business and going that route. So it's amazing. It's just, you're a perfect person that I love to hear inspire people in so many different ways. Like, just by hearing your journey, it's amazing for a lot of people. As far as when it does come down to the fitness things, like just in general, what do you think are what's the biggest impedance? What's the biggest thing that gets in the way, from what you've seen of working with so many clients online, in person, of them achieving their goals, whether it is gaining muscle, whether it is losing fat? Like, what's the biggest thing standing in so many people's way that want to have a specific physique, don't want to have fucking aches and pains, want more energy, and they feel like they've quote unquote tried everything, which I'm sure you've heard of that, people saying that. What do you think the biggest impedance is to that?
Dude, it's cliche, simple answer, but I think it's just consistency, man. I think I've seen this time and time again that a lot of people will be doing the right thing. They just don't do it long enough, right? They just don't do it like they could. It's like that classic like little picture where the guy's working hard and he walks back with there's diamonds right there. You know what I'm talking about? And if he just kept going, he would have reached the diamonds. So I think it's just sticking for it for long enough, man. Like being willing to, like, from your own experience from fitness, like there's gonna be times where you realize, like, for example, let's say you've never tracked your macros before and you've been working out for a while and you have these physique goals and you realize like you haven't been hitting your protein for like the past 4 months. You're like, yo, I've been like 50 grams off my protein. Like most people will just get discouraged and be like, fuck this, I did all that for nothing. What am I doing? I could have been doing this or that. Whereas that's inevitable. Like in your fitness journey, like those type of things are going to happen all the time. Like you can either learn from it and just keep growing and just be grateful that you did learn and make the necessary adjustments in your fitness journey, or you can get discouraged and quit. And like I feel like a lot of people a lot of people quit because one, they don't have the pet. Like, it's easy for me to say this shit because I love this shit. Like, I love like fitness. It's like a hobby for me. Like, working on my body, it's like a project. It's cool. Like the way you manipulate your workouts, the way you change the variables, you can get a different result. And I think that's super cool. It's like art in a way. So it's easy for me to say because I'm a trainer, but that's the biggest thing I think. It's like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want the physique that you desire? And like I said, like there's gonna be times in your fitness journey where you're gonna realize you've been fucking up, or you've been doing this wrong, or your form's been off here, or you haven't been resting enough, or just all those things, like all those factors that go into it. When you learn that you're doing it wrong, what's your next step? Are you gonna quit, or are you gonna make the adjustments and just keep it rolling? You almost have to be emotionless. Like, you just gotta take it and just keep going. So that's the biggest thing, I think.
I love that you said you almost have to be emotionless, because one of my favorite coaches, Peter Crone, put the example of like when they have the New Year's resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to get to a certain physique. And so on the first day, when they're like, I want to get to this physique, that's their word, right? Mm-hmm. But then 3 weeks down the line, when they're not feeling like going to the gym, and they say, I don't feel like it, I'm tired. What you're doing in that situation is you're not honoring your word, you're honoring your feelings.
Yes.
And when you're honoring your feelings, shit's just not gonna get done that often. Because honestly, for me, I don't know about you, but it's like almost like never feel like doing shit. I have to get myself into that state of mind, whether it's fucking work, whether it's like some type of like Spanish lesson, whether it's like a social gathering. I might not feel like it like when I'm at home, but it's like you just show up anyways, and then you catch up and you're like, oh yeah, this is why I'm here. Yeah. And it just comes that way. Yeah. But in the beginning, it's if we're only gonna do shit based on how we feel, then nothing that we ever want is ever gonna get accomplished.
Exactly, dude. Exactly, bro.
And for the person that like, again, and they're like, oh, easy for you to say, like, you're a trainer, you love this stuff. What's something that they can do to either make themselves enjoy the process more, or have some type of inner dialogue, some type of self-talk that actually helps them get to where they want to go, instead of making their life fucking way more difficult? Yeah. Because the language, and you and me are big on language. Yeah. Like, we hit each other up all the time, or like I've seen tweets on Twitter like, yo, stop using these words. There's no more can't. There's no more trying. Yeah, this type of shit. So I know language is super important to you. So what would you suggest self-talk wise, or something that maybe that's helped you or has helped other clients in the past? Like, just get their ass there and show up so they can have the consistency. Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just taking the emotion out of it and ignoring how you feel, because you're like, realistically, if you're working out in a 5-day split, like even me, dude, 2 days I'm going to feel like good, feel good at the gym, feel present. Like the other 3 to 4 are like a grind. Like, I'm doing it because I'm just craving the end result. And I think that's a big thing, especially for working professionals that have physique goals, have health goals, and they have a full-time job. They have shit going on. They have a family. Like, it's focusing on, like, no, it's having that reassurance that what I'm doing right now is just how do I phrase this? It's having the end result in mind, like it's a Tim Grover quote, crave the end result so intensely that the work becomes irrelevant. And that's where I think coaches are so valuable, because you could have a full plan and it just eliminates all like the research on your own and knowing what exercise to do, all like the thought and what's the word I'm looking for? There's so much information out there, so it's like it can be like intimidating to the average person to make their own workout and go to the gym and just know exactly what to do. That's a lot of time and research to do, right? So investing in a coach and having the whole plan and the whole program set in place, and knowing like all I have to do is just take action and just do what he says. Yeah. And that's it. When I'm at the gym, just be at the gym. But otherwise, I can focus on what I need to focus on to make my life better. Focus on my job. Focus on my family. Like, that's where coaches are so valuable, because you can, again, like, the whole map is laid out. You just got to do it. So I think the biggest thing I would give advice to a working class person that's not a trainer is honestly invest in. You got 2 choices: either do all the research on your own and make a plan for yourself, or hire a coach that can get you the goal that you want.
Facts.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it's just like having the result in mind, because that's what matters at the end of the day. Like, it's our job to get people results, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're not gonna, like, you don't have to love it. Like, most people, 90% of people don't love it. It's just like, you want the result, you want the things that come with the result, with the physique, like the confidence, the, like, walking into a place and like feeling good in your skin, like filling out your shirt, having like good quality arms, getting defined face, like all those things are priceless. Like, and that's like most people don't like the process, but they want the result, right? So.
And even it's like, I think a lot of times people, I heard this one quote. It was like, start, like the reason you go to the gym in the beginning is maybe like for the vanity, but you stay for the therapy. And it's like over time you're just gonna realize and recognize like how much, I know it's not all the fucking time that we have the energy to get to the gym, but normally, at least for me, it's like you leave more fired up.
Oh yeah.
You go in the morning, it sets the tone for the day. You go in the, I actually recently, I've been doing, because I have naturally a ton of energy in the morning, so I've been doing a lot of my work beginning of the day, and now I hit the gym in the afternoon like a 1, 2, or 3. And in the past, that was a time when I was working during the day, that would be a slump for me, and I was struggling in the afternoon. But when I switched it and put the gym and lifting in the afternoon, that helped me so much to get me fucking energy for the second half of the day. And it was actually just a way for me to totally dump like the bullshit from my mind. And which where I needed it the most, which was in that afternoon. So I think it doesn't even fucking matter the reason that you get your ass to the gym in the first place. It could be because you want the six pack, it could be because you want to impress the girl, whatever, you want more confidence. It really doesn't matter personally, what I think, why you want to get there, but you're gonna want to stay eventually after you do it consistently for a while, because you're gonna feel addicted to how good you actually feel. And I want to transition that a little bit into when it comes to feeling good and like on a day-to-day basis, people having energy, people having that physical freedom that I talked about. What would you say is the most underrated aspect of fitness or just like health in general when it comes to the body that people aren't prioritizing or capitalizing on or like doing whatever throughout the day or throughout the week that's going to help them feel amazing as well?
So what's the most, can you say that again? My bad, bro.
Yeah, no, you're good. Like, what's the most like underrated aspect of fitness when it comes to helping people feel like amazing throughout the day?
I think it's the mental aspect of doing something hard. If, say like you work out in the morning and you do super tough, like, let's say legs, for example. Like, dude, legs are it's so hard, especially if you haven't done legs in 1 to 2 years or whatever, haven't done it in like months and stuff. Like that first leg day is like ass, bro. It's fucking, it's hell, dude. So it's like proving yourself that you can do things you don't want to do, like the mental like gratification you get from that. Like after that, like the rest of the day, like those little bumps in the road, they don't even seem that hard. So I think it's like the mental benefit of doing hard things and proving it to yourself that you can do it.
100%.
Like doing legs in a gym, especially if you're not in a group class, like doing legs in a gym alone, like it's so easy to quit 3 to 4 reps early, but like pushing through those reps, like just the mental satisfaction you get after that, you can just carry on. You can carry that momentum for the rest of the day. So I think that's the most underrated part, just the momentum you get from doing hard shit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, bro. It's almost like right now we're 100% living in a comfort crisis.
Yeah.
We're living in a cheap dopamine hit ass society, soft society, where it's like people, when they feel uncomfortable, they can go to their phone, get a dopamine hit.
Yep.
They can go jerk off, get a dopamine hit. They can go eat fucking fast food and dog shit and Uber Eats it and feel better. Like, whatever it is, people, they don't want to feel comfortable. They don't want to do hard shit, so they just ignore it and they just do, and they just go to the distractions. But so I totally fucking agree that it's a time more than ever that people actually need to move towards the discomfort, move towards the uncertainty, because it equips you. You're more fit to be able to and equipped to navigate life and, like you said, like the challenges and the obstacles. Because it's like, it's funny, like even let's say like you have a sales job or something, and it's like you don't want to deal with rejection, you don't want to have this sales call, but you just went in the cold plunge at 32 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. The sales call doesn't seem too fucking scary anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you were in that cold plunge, you thought you were gonna die for 5 minutes. Like, I can do the sales call. It's not
exactly.
And again, and Goggins, another guy that talks about it, he was talking about being with his girl. And he'll go on like whatever. He probably run like a marathon or something, but even like a 15, 20 mile run. And whatever bullshit like he was like a little frustrated with about in life, you're just like more like calm and chilled after. It's like it's not as deep. Like you're not as riled up as the little bullshit inconveniences of life, like when you're training, when you're putting in that effort and that work and like giving it all. Like it's really like a perspective builder as well. So I totally agree, bro.
And like arguably like the mental benefits are greater than the physical, honestly. Like especially for the average person, like me and you, we love fitness and we love like the physique benefits, obviously, because we're just junkies. But like just to have empathy and put yourself in the average Joe's shoes, like most people, 90% of people don't really care about that stuff. They just wanna be healthy. They wanna have a long life, longevity. Longevity is like their main motivation. They just know they have to do it because they want to be functional when they're older. But I'm aware that like the physique goals, I have physique goals, but most people might not even have physique goals. They just want to be healthy.
But you know what? But what else too is though you're totally right. But you know what they don't want? They don't want fucking aches and pains. They don't want their lower back hurting when they're at the desk all day. They don't even know why that's bothering them. So they know what they don't want, but they don't necessarily know what they do want. But sometimes pushing away from what you don't want is a stronger motivator than even going towards what you want. And so actually just even thinking about that, transitioning into when it comes to just like that overall health and vitality and feeling good, aches and pains is absolutely massive, especially with a culture who's sitting at their desk with their shoulders forward. I got to remind myself all the time to fix my posture.
Got the bow tie over there.
Yeah,
sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even that, exactly, bro, it's perfect. And then that lower back, like from fucking sitting at a desk all day long, which is just like, is one of the most unnatural things like that humans could do is sit for that long. You are the king that I know of mobility. You have taught me a shit ton, bro. Like one of the most mobile people I've ever met in my life. Could you talk
right now,
on? Could you
played hoop last night? Keep going.
Could you talk a little bit about the importance of mobility and even just like things people go, places people can go, things they can do for 5 minutes a day that literally are going to make a world of difference. So don't have these aches and pains and they're like walking around limping by fucking mid 30s, mid to high 30s. Even.
Yeah. First, to get into that point, the definition of mobility is the ability to move freely, right? Your mobility is going to help, obviously going to help your strength training, it's going to help you feel good, but I would say if you dedicate like 10 to 15 minutes into like mobility, it's going to make just everything else feel good, right? So for example, you gave the example of people sitting all day. So when you sit all day, your hip flexors get tight, right? Your shoulders slouch, right? So a couple things you can do for that is, one, obviously stretch your hip flexors, but also strengthen your hip flexors. So I could give examples of different stretches, like a couch stretch or a kneeling hip flexor, right? That's going to stretch it, and then you could load it up with some marches. I'm not going to get too technical, but basically what you want to do is if you incorporate, like, again, 10 to 15 minutes of just a simple, and it could be spaced out. If you don't have a set 15 minutes of the day, like you can space it out into like mini, like micro doses throughout the day. I'm the king of that. I have a hard time sitting down, to be honest with you. I have ADHD. I'm a spaz, bro. I can't sit for an hour at a time. I'll just start just shaking my leg or something. But even just standing up and like doing some band pull aparts, get some blood flowing to the upper back, or getting like a kneeling hip flexor stretch, or doing some Spider-Mans, just doing a little movement. Like it takes 60 seconds, like 2 minutes, right? And then getting back to your work, that'll go so far in the long run to how you feel on a daily basis. That's going to add up to a full mobility routine at the end of the day. So again, but it's tough for some people can just dial in and sit down for 4 hours and get a lot of work done. So I understand that sometimes it's like breaking that state of flow that could be hard. Like it's easy for me, like I said, because I find it very hard to sit still. Like I could be on my feet all day and be chilling. But again, it's just so important to put your body in those positions and not let it, because the longer you wait, like the more you sit like day in and day out, the more tight you get, right? And you're just going to keep getting tighter. It's not going to get loose on its own, right? So again, starting with just basic mobility, and then when that gets too easy, like you can progress your mobility as well. Like I'm into a lot of like loaded mobility, so I'll do it with like weights and resistance bands, stuff like that. I rarely do like regular mobility anymore. I do a lot of loaded mobility. I call it loaded lotion. My guy Mike G, GBG Hoops, is a big culprit or a big advocate of that. He calls it that. I'm not gonna take the same, but yeah, man, mobility is so important. Again, do mobility every single day. You can even strength train like three times a week, get great results, and do mobility every day and feel great. Honestly, so
100%. No, man, I even know myself. It's like if I take even like you said, if I take 3 minutes to literally do some type of even just like hip openers. They
Yeah.
have to be loaded. Like honestly, just away from my desk, like it makes a world of
Yeah.
difference when I'm sitting there for the next hour.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, we gotta remind ourselves that we gotta get up at least every 45 minutes to an hour, bro. It's just not natural to be
Yeah.
sitting there that freaking long.
Yeah, bro.
Is absolutely.
And people don't do it because, quite frankly, even for me, bro, it's like it's not the most glamorous thing to do. It
It's-
feels good, but I mean, it is
exactly.
boring. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. That's why you just gotta do it. Like you just gotta. That's to our point before. You gotta think of how you're gonna feel afterwards. Like
Yeah.
that should be your motivation. Like it's gonna help me
Exactly.
feel good.
Yeah.
It's not about doing like it's not gonna be fun. Like, it's not like lifting weights where you get some endorphins going. You get like the blood flowing, your heart rate's up. Like you feel good. It's boring, dude. It's not that fun, but
100%.
it pays off.
It's like asking yourself, reminding yourself all the time, is like, what would help my future self? Like, what's my future self going to appreciate? And it's just always thinking towards that. It's not about how you feel in this moment, but what's going to set me up? What's going to set me up to feel better for more success in the future?
Yeah, dude.
And even with that, bro, these are like so much of what we're talking about is funny because when I was doing the Higher Purpose podcast with Chris, we talk about fitness and nutrition because like we love it. It's super important. But so much of it always ended up coming to mindset.
Yeah,
so
literally.
much because everything I feel like in the end really comes down to mindset.
Just doing it, dude. Doing the thing.
Who have been like some of your biggest mentors, like when it comes to shaping who you are, your values, your mindset, and helping you like along this path, bring you to where you are now?
I would say from a young age, I gotta say my father. Honestly, it's underrated. But me and Brendan were talking about this the other day. We did a reel about like the victim mentality and like just how people are quitting. I think it's underrated from like an early age. My dad took quitting out of the option. If you start something like, let's say for example, like start football, like I remember my first year of football in like 6th grade. Like the first week, like I did not know what to expect. Have you ever seen Little Giants? Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, sure.
So I was going into football. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be like that movie. I want to play football. I play side yard football all the time.
Yeah.
And like the first week, there was no pads, and we were just running. Like we were just doing hill runs, bear crawls, like all football, like boot camp shit.
Yeah.
And I wanted to quit, dude. I was like, this is not fun at all.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, you're not, like, when you start something, you finish it. If you don't want to play after the season, like, that's fine, but you're not quitting. And I would see, obviously, the first week of football, kids drop off every day. Like, kids are quitting. And just, that's just underrated as a parent, is to just take quitting out of the table. And that is instilled with me from this day. So I'm never going to, whenever I do something, like, I might fail. I might not be good in the beginning, but I'm never going to quit, right? And that paralleled to baseball as well. I was always coming off basketball season, and my first month I wasn't good, dude. I just wasn't good at baseball. And then once I got going, I started getting it. My dad would always say, just keep showing up, showing up. So he instilled those two things that I take on till this day of just never quitting. That's not an option. Quit is just not in our DNA. It's just no other option, right?
Would you say, what's the difference between quitting and pivoting?
That's a great point. Quitting is just not even giving it a shot, in my opinion. It's just is saying this is too hard, it's not for me, and just not giving it a full go. Pivoting is you give it a shot, you figure it out in a different way. You're making adjustments along the way. So like for a business perspective, like trying something, like trying a service out, it's like this isn't really working. I'm going to use this instead. So it's not like it's having the end goal in mind. Like you're not. So a pivot is like not giving up on the end goal, in my opinion. It's just making adjustments and evolving.
Yeah.
Quitting is just saying, I saw this quote the other day, I forgot who said it, like most people have plan A in mind. Mm-hmm. They want plan A, and then they're going for plan A and they realize it's fucking hard as hell.
Yeah. And
then they're like, let me go with plan B, and then they convince themselves that plan B is better for them or plan B is meant for them. Yeah. But they never gave plan A like a fair shot.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting question. It's like, how do you know when you gave it your all, right? I guess you never know, but
yeah, no, it's an interesting point because I totally agree. It's like you have to give something sufficient amount of time. I almost think when it comes to a new job or something, it's like you got to give it at least 3 months. I feel like it's like minimum like 3 months, like to see like, all right, so you actually have an idea, whether it could be like a new sport or a new skill or something as well. But I don't know, just like minimum of that, like you're showing up every single day. Because at least you have a much better idea now. And then you can actually decide, like, for whatever reasons, like, all right, whether you see this is like a viable route to continue with or pivot. But I like what you said, too. It's like the pivot is not giving up on the end goal. It's just finding, it's like there's different ways to get to plan A.
Yeah.
Like
It's not one, right?
if
Yeah.
your vision's plan A, you might have had one route in mind, but there was a lot of obstacles or unforeseen conditions or circumstances that you weren't ready for.
Yeah.
So now you just found a different path to still get to that plan.
Yeah, for sure. And then like back to the sports point, like that's why I'm grateful for my father just instilling that of keep showing up. And like I've always been a slow starter in whatever I do, but I always had in the back of my mind of like, if I just stick this out and if I just show up every day and just keep getting better, I know I can be good at this. And like and I think at an early age, like having proof of that's why I think sports are just so important just for mindset in general. Just proving it to yourself. I can do it with this. I can do it with business as well. I can do this with coaching as well. Just give me enough time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Give me enough time to fail and make adjustments, make some pivots. So like those two things have been instilled in me. But to answer your question, some more mentors or people that I look up to, obviously Alex Hormozy, just with his books like $100 million offers, $100 million leads, just from a business perspective, but also mindset. Tim Grover, who wrote Relentless, he was Michael Jordan's trainer. He's very like intense. This is the thing, like just taking what you like from different people and just making it your own, right? Tim Grover, who else? I'm drawing a blank right now. Obviously Goggins' mindset, he's a madman, but who else? What about you? What are some good
Some
ones?
of my favorite mentors.
Obviously,
facts. Jay Shetty, Aubrey Marcus, Peter Crone, Lewis Howes, Tim Ferriss, honestly Rogan too. I'm super interested. Obviously, I love the Tim Grovers, the Goggins, but I guess the guys that would be my main mentors are the ones that are doing what I aspire to do in a sense in one area, which is they are like they're coaches, authors, podcasters. Maybe they host retreats. Maybe they have like masterminds. Like they're doing a lot of like they're spreading the same message just in different vehicles.
Yeah.
And so I love podcasting, but I also love writing. I also love speaking. I could see myself, and then one day I want to like lead retreats as well. So I just look up to those guys who are like conveying a similar message. They're just doing it in different ways that is be able to express yourself differently. Yeah. It's still creative and it's fresh. It's fresh. It's a challenge doing different types of things.
Yeah, and they have their own way of like communicating and language and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but that's one thing that like I feel super blessed to be born in this time period. There's so many people like think the fucking world's falling apart. Things are so much better and whatever it was, the 80s, the 50s, 60s, whatever, like always pushing things off to that they were better in a different time period. But I feel super genuinely thankful that I've been able to get to this point and learn all I have because of podcasts, books, like because of social media, because we are like we've been able to learn from these people as they're our mentors, even though they don't know us. But like our parents, like it was like your mentors were people that you were in the proximity, or maybe like you found a book at the library. But that was it. Like we have access to all of this information, all these like legends and top 1%ers in their own respect that can help us mold into who we are today. Yeah,
and like you said, like we're at a time where we have access to like literally you can form whatever you want in your brain. You have so much you could fill your brain up just with the internet access and podcasts.
Yeah.
And just like for example, like in Dallas, like I didn't know. I had my intern buddies, but I didn't know anyone else. So what did I do? I knew that if I just let my mind go idle, like it could go into like dark places, right? Like the quote, like an idle mind is the devil's playground, right? So you can fill your brain up with those people like all throughout your phone. You don't have to know them. You can create your 5. What's the quote? Like you're the average of the 5 people you talk to most. Like say you don't have 5 people around you physically. Yeah. Like in this day and age, you can do this all online. Like you can completely shift your mindset by yourself. Like you don't need to physically be there, which is honestly people take for granted for that. I think
100%.
100%, bro.
Absolutely.
It's like using all the technology to your advantage. Everyone talks about the cons, but I don't think people talk about the pros as much.
As long as you're super intentional with it.
Yeah.
Like you're following, like you're curating who you follow, like you're making sure your timeline is whatever it is. Like I like to make it uplifting. I like to do people that I look up to, like mentors, whatever, uplifting quotes, affirmations, like curating it specifically so that because every single thing that we read, all these things is in our subconscious mind. So we want to make sure we're flooding that so that when we're on autopilot mode, our mind on default is like, it always falls back on we're going to continue on. We're going to keep going, pick ourselves back up, which you can rewire your brain when you have all these people around you, the environment, like, and that goes the background on your laptop, like what you're looking on social media, the people you're surrounding yourself with, what you're watching on fucking YouTube and TV. All this, everything plays a part in it, and it's so important.
And it could be mindless, or like you said, it could be positive. Like
yeah,
you have the choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Just all the little things add up. Everything matters, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, and so as far as one things with the mentors, maybe like a little bit more like personal, but when it comes to getting to where you are now, and we talk about getting out of your comfort zone and this and that stuff, what was like one of the biggest self-limiting beliefs that you had to break to get to where you are at this point in time?
Damn, that's a good question, bro. Self-limiting. So to get in the online space, you think, or just in life in general?
To develop the mindset, to develop the confidence, like to start your own thing, to get you to this point in your life.
Dude, I think we touched on it earlier, but the importance of just self-talk, bro. Like the way you talk to yourself. I think like in the past, you got to be your best friend, like to yourself, right? I think sometimes I was just. I placed limitations on myself. I can't do that, or I don't like just having an open mind and just rewiring how I speak to myself, like we talked about before, eliminating try. No, I'm gonna do it, or just. I think what limited me before is just not having, or just not thinking it was possible, bro. This is a deep question, bro. Shit. I probably have a better answer if I thought about it a little bit longer.
No, it's all
Want to come back to it? Let's come back to it.
Yeah, we can come back to it. Did you have an aha moment when it came to the limiting belief, or like a moment in time where you're like, fuck, I gotta change this self-talk. I gotta turn this ship around. Like, I gotta do something about this. Was there like a specific moment?
I don't think it was a aha moment. I think it was just like compounding efforts. I think it was just consuming content that obviously, like, I wanted to just rephrase or rewire my brain. I think it was just continually reminding myself and continually like watching those videos. I feel like it just over time, like I found myself talking to myself better, right? It wasn't like really an aha moment, to be honest. There was an aha, like I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
But like even then, I would still catch myself with those old habits of talking to myself. I think it's just like being more conscious of it, like catching myself. Hey, don't talk to yourself like that. Yeah. Like say it this way, and just the more I did that, and then eventually it just became unconscious. Like I would just do it. So I think like the aha, like damn, like people like talk about like overnight successes. Like I think it goes the same for your personal development. I don't think there's I don't think it just like you wake up one morning and you're just a different person. You're just like, I think it's just continuing compound efforts over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And not getting discouraged, man. Like you're not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Even today, like I still feel like I have a long way to go, bro. Like even just speaking on podcasts, bro. Like I'm still like, I want to be more fluid with my words. I just want to articulate my words better. I want to have better flow. There's so much more I want to do. And again, like that just goes with just doing it, bro. Doing the damn thing. Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, there wasn't like one aha moment. I think it was just, again, compounding effort of just being conscious of how I'm talking to myself, how I'm thinking when I'm not around people. Mm-hmm. What am I doing with my idle time? That's basically it, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah. No.
How about you?
Biggest limiting belief that I've overcome definitely had to do with scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
But scarcity mindset, but it was interesting because I learned a lot about scarcity mindset. And a lot of people, obviously money, right? Obviously scarcity mindset, money. But it's actually scarcity mindset in all different areas of life that I didn't even recognize. Mm-hmm. Like different is, even when it comes to relationships, when it comes to food. So for example, a relationship, this is a scarcity mindset that I'm sure people don't even recognize. You don't want to break up with your girl. You don't want you guys to end because you're like, yo, I'm never going to find someone like this again. Yeah. That's scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. There's 8 billion people on this planet. Yeah. There's another girl out there for you. Yeah. But that's scarcity mindset. Even with food, you got to finish all the food on the plate because it's like, how often do the people in Africa don't have that food. Like you eating all that food and doing anything for them. Yeah. That's like scarcity mindset. And that's one that comes from a lot of like grandparents. As grandparents, they're always like, come on, like you gotta eat everything. That's scarcity mindset. But the thing is, these people grew up in places where that was actually real. Mm-hmm. Whether it was like the Great Depression or something. My dad grew up in Soviet Poland.
Yeah.
communist Poland. Food was actually an issue.
Yeah.
Scarcity mindset, it actually was a form of survival.
Yeah.
But I don't have that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But we're just mirroring the behaviors. Like, we're just learning the behaviors of what we see. So even though it doesn't serve us, we're just mirroring them as we're growing up. So I saw scarcity mindset, had it like with money stuff, but then I recognized that it was actually in all the areas too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I literally, it was blind spot.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's a good one, bro.
So that's been absolutely massive. Probably the biggest one I ever, because now I believe that there's infinite possibilities, like genuinely, like the abundance of everything. There's more than plenty, more than enough of absolutely everything. Like, it totally, your whole world changes with that perspective.
Dude, that's a great point, and that actually thought of mine now. But that obviously I'm still working on that as well, the abundance. But I would say the biggest growth that I made, like mindset wise, is when I was in Dallas. I think it was just eliminating the fixed mindset to a growth
mindset.
And this I didn't think way back, because this was like 2018.
Yeah.
So like, dude, in junior high school, college, like I wasn't like the best student, bro. I was like a average student at best. It was very hard for me to just sit there and pay attention, bro. My mind would go everywhere, and that would bother me, bro. I'm like, why can't I focus? It would just bother me, and I just had a fixed mindset into the fact that that's just not who I am. I just can't learn like that. I'm just not as smart as them. I have my strengths and my weaknesses, like, and that's it. Like, I'm never gonna. That's just how I thought unconsciously.
Yeah.
And until like I just went on YouTube University and just went through like binge watch mindset videos and stuff like that. I'm like, oh shit, like I can change the way I think. I can be good at these things if I focus on them, if I accept challenges as an opportunity to grow and not a burden, right? So that was the biggest and when I shifted my mindset when I was in Dallas, I was just in complete isolation. And sometimes I feel like that's the best way to grow, is just to get out of your environment and just be forced to be in your thoughts. So that was definitely the biggest in terms of mindset, in terms of confidence. I obviously I had a lot of dark days down there, and just sitting with my thoughts and sitting with where I am right now and where I want to go and what am I doing right now in terms of just on a day-to-day basis, mindset-wise. If I keep this up, where am I going to end up? Yeah. Right? Just having those like thoughts, and like those could be some heavy thoughts, honestly. Yeah. Am I cool with just being average? Like, am I cool with just, being in this, like, I'm good at this and not good at this for the rest of my life, which a lot of people do, man. Like, a lot of people just go to their strengths and just ignore their weaknesses, and which is fine if they're happy, if they're fulfilled. But I knew that I wanted to be better at that stuff, and I still have those moments. Like, even now, like, even a podcast like this, like, we've been making content for 5-6 months, but I still get nervous, bro. I still like get caught on my words and stuff. And I watch I watch you do it. You're so calm, cool, and collected, and you don't waste any words. There's no like ums and likes. Like, I get self-conscious of how I speak all the time. Like, why can't I speak fluidly? And you got to do the damn thing. You got to work on that stuff. I can't just go to the gym for 3 hours and think I'm going to get better at this stuff. I got to do this stuff. And you had a post about that about 5 months ago or so, and that hit home for me. It's just, if you want to get better at something, you got to do the damn thing. You got to do it. Exactly. I relate it to like basketball. If you want to dunk, like, you got to be obsessed with dunking. You got to try to dunk every day. You got to work on jumping. You got to do all this and that. You can't just like do some squats and stuff and expect to jump higher. And that parallels to this. If I want to be better at speaking, if I want to make better content, if I want to, be a better communicator, be more charismatic, I got to do the damn thing. I got to go out there and do it. Like, you got to attack it head on. So I think that's the biggest self-limiting belief. It was 2018 fixed mindset to growth mindset, honestly.
I'm so fucking glad you said that, because I almost like want to, as much as like scarcity mindset been an issue for me, like I want to change it to fixed mindset, bro, because I was 100% on the exact same way. And I saw a study recently, a couple of things I want to share with you because it's super important when it comes to academically in school, because I also was not a great student either. The biggest factors when it comes to students struggling in school is not an issue with their intellect. It has to do with who they believe they are and their identity. And because whether they had a teacher or whether they had a friend or someone say like, you're stupid, or bro, you're an idiot, or like, how did you fail on this, or like, oh, you just learn slower than others. This type of shit, especially at such a young age, so many kids take this on as an identity and then they just live there, bro. And I did that 100% of the time because I was always just, oh, you're just like not a math student. So I told myself my whole life, like, oh, you don't do math, like I'm not a math kid. But in reality, you might struggle a little bit more with that, but you didn't even fucking try.
Yeah.
Like, you literally just looked at the page for 5 minutes, got uncomfortable because it didn't come naturally, and gave up on it. But then I had that mindset with a lot of different things. It wasn't just math. It was like any time with any subject that wasn't my strength. Literally, like in different classes, I remember Italian in university. There were these group exercises, like group stuff, and like, it was like there were teams and we had to go up with our group in front of the class, and when I was like, I knew I was like the worst student in the class, and every single time it was time to do the group activities up in the board and these little challenges, I was like, all right, time to go to the bathroom, and I just leave the classroom for 20 to 30 minutes on a walk. They did this stuff because, bro, I didn't even try. I was like, I can't do this, go. And bro, that type of mindset, it goes into everything. And unfortunately, I'm still hearing that out of people's, because now I'm like so much more attuned to what people, the language that they're using. And so often, bro, I'm asking people like, yo, what are you excited about? Like, what are you learning? What do you want to do? Whatever. And it's this, but I can't do that. I can't do this. I'm in Colombia right now. Dance is absolutely massive. I'm learning bachata and salsa. It's amazing. It's changed my experience completely. I meet gringos, like foreigners, all the time. I go, who just came to Colombia, I go, yo, you're gonna start dancing, and they go, nah, I can't do that, man, I can't do that. Bro, none of us can do it like right off the rip because it wasn't in our culture. Like, we didn't have it. You gotta learn it. But no one likes to feel stupid, and so they don't even try. And so I have an antidote to that, actually, because I just watched a TED Talk on this, and it's how to learn anything. You just have to give it 20 hours. There's not a myth, but it's like, have you ever heard the 10,000 hours to be amazing at something? That study is for a top 1% expert in something. So to be able to shoot like a Steph or play ball like LeBron or something like that, that is to be the top 1% of whatever it is you're trying to learn. And so what happens is, so many people, like, they're like, I don't have 10,000 hours. I can't do that. I can't show up and give in the reps every day. If you just give 20 hours to something, the curve that you're going to learn more in that 20 hours than you were probably going to learn the rest of the time working towards that skill. And so the reason I bring that up is because you can learn how to do whatever skill it is, whether it's like writing on the internet, whether it is editing videos, whether it's learning a new language, learning a new instrument. But you just got to give it at least 20 hours. That's an hour a day for 20 days, 45 minutes a day for a month. But a lot of times people will they'll give it like maybe 3 hours of YouTube University. They get frustrated and they say, fuck this, I can't do this. They go to 1 to 2 dance classes. Fuck this, I can't do this. It's not enough. You're not giving fucking enough to actually be able to see what you're capable of. And when you do, you're going to see it's going to push. And that's again why fitness is so amazing, because people can actually see the external results of the work that they put in after a few months or so, and it's holy shit, I actually have way more control over the life that I'm living than I ever thought possible. So if anything, besides all the things we've been talking about with fitness, it's one of the greatest markers of what you're capable of accomplishing in your life, and that you have way more power over your life than you actually thought.
And I think that's super valuable, just having a number. Like you said, 20 hours.
Exactly.
Just keep reminding yourself, I just got to get to 20.
This was class 3, 17 more hours, and then I can be like, yo, is it worth it or should I pivot? But like, you at least fucking gave it the 20 hours.
Dude, that's super valuable, bro. And like, I think for me personally, if it's anything to do like physically, I could battle through it, you know, if it's sports or if it's weightlifting or if like, I'd much rather go through some physical shit than some mental shit. For me personally, that's just out of my comfort zone. Like, I know if I stick to something, like I'm pretty confident if I stick to any sport, like tennis, bro, anything. Like, you're a big tennis guy, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anything, I feel like I could figure it out if you give me like 2 weeks or whatever. Like, I feel like I can get decent. But like mentally, sometimes I get discouraged. But I'm gonna keep that in mind, like with the 20 hours, the 20-hour rule. Is that what they call it? 20
20 hours learning anything.
Because like sometimes sitting down, I'm like, I just find myself like zoning off or thinking about something. And I think it's a gift and a curse. Like, if I'm interested in something, I can dial in, bro. Like I can do it for hours and hours. But if I'm not that interested, like it's so much. Like it could be like a simple task. Like so much hard for me to lock in.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's my gift and my curse. Like what I have ADHD. Like that's which most people have. 90% of people probably have. But again, like just having a tangible target just goes a long way just for motivation and just discipline, bro. Like
exactly, bro. 100%. I couldn't agree more. And it's like when you're the most frustrated, like let's just be uncomfortable for the 20 hours. It doesn't feel like it's forever, and that's massive.
Yeah,
that's massive.
And that's where I think like when you're trying to learn a new thing, like doing a course like chapter by chapter or step by step is super valuable as well. Just because when you look if you look at it like a broad subject, it's overwhelming to look at all of it at once, like a full book. But if you go chapter by chapter, step by step, it just breaks it up easier, in my opinion.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, dog, I don't want to keep too much more of your time, bro. I have 3 more questions, but 2 of these ones, just even 1 sentence answers if you got.
Yeah, bro. I got time, bro. We're good.
All right, bro. All right, first one is best advice you've ever received.
He's asking the good questions. Best advice I ever received. Shit, man. That's a good one. You go first, bro. You go first.
Ooh, okay.
Because whenever you go, my wheels start turning.
Okay. All right, putting it on there. Best advice I've ever received. I'm going to change it up to a quote. Okay. The quote I actually got right on my arm here. Best advice ever received. I have the quote on my arm. It's like, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but your thoughts about it. So I guess the advice I've received in that is that we get to control our attitude and our perception about any situation ever. Dang. Like on the outside it can look like absolutely fucking brutal, horrible, but actually like we get to decide how we feel about it.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, I think it's the most powerful.
It's basically like whatever comes at you, like you choose how you react, basically.
Exactly.
Right?
Facts. Like a house can be burning down to the ground, and one family is like absolutely gutted. They're so sad, like their house burned down. And the other family is hyped because they hated that fucking house, but it's a fresh start for them somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing happened, 2 different outlooks.
Damn, bro, that's a good one. I have one. I don't know if it's the best advice, but it's just on my mind right now, so I'm going to say it. I remember working, this was like post Mavs. I was working at a gym in Long Island. I was like working out kids and stuff, and it just felt like a drag. Like, and I just had thoughts. I'm like, do I want to do this the rest of my life? Like, so 2 different advice. So one, I was talking to my boy JJ, and he said, his dad said, if you go into a job thinking this is the job that I'm having the rest of my life, this is my life, you're gonna be depressed, like regardless. So just having it one day at a time and just staying present. Facts. And not thinking too far. And obviously, you want to have the big picture in mind, but take it day by day, but keep the big picture in mind. Yeah. So that was one thing. That I'm like, all right, like this isn't forever. Just knowing that your current situation isn't forever. Yeah. And just reminding yourself that. Yeah. Because we all know that, like it's cliche, but just remind yourself, like actually saying it. And then I talked to my captain when I was down there, who works like, dude, he's got great money, like probably works 12-hour days, works in Manhattan, does some financial shit. I don't even know his job title. Shout out Sty. Money isn't everything, it just helps you sleep at night. And I was like, damn, that's facts. Like, because I was going basically check by check. Like I wasn't making crazy money, but I'm like, I'm working out kids for basketball, bro. Like I'm doing my passion. Like obviously not where I want to be end goal wise, but like money, you obviously want money. Like it's gonna help it's gonna help you sleep at night. It's gonna help all the stresses, but like it's not. Like I was thinking about going to my uncle and getting a job in the city and going the rat race type shit. Like I was very close to doing that, like very close, because my uncle could have plugged me up. Yeah. And who knows where I would be? I would probably have been miserable, dude. Like I probably would have had a lot of money and just going just drowning all on the weekends and just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just numbing myself, just did the rat race thing. So if he didn't say that to me, honestly, I probably would have went a different way, to be honest. Yeah. So
facts, bro.
Yeah, money isn't everything. It just helps you sleep at night.
Yeah. Boom. Super powerful, bro.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch it up. Any worse advice you've ever received or heard? Worst advice.
This is the best job in the world.
Okay.
This is the best job, and this is Disney. Nah, bro, these are. You go first.
The worst advice shit I ever heard in my life was you can sleep when you're dead. I think it's the worst fucking advice in the entire world, bro. You can sleep when you're dead, bro.
Yeah, like successful people don't. I hate that too,
dude. Bro. For me, it's just, bro, sleep is arguably like when I asked you the most underrated part, I said for fitness, but maybe for health in general, I think it could be sleep.
Yeah.
Because that shit is so important, bro. When I do not sleep, I am arguably feels like a different person.
Yeah, dude.
Like I'm just not nearly as efficient, effective, patient, can't articulate myself nearly as well. Don't feel, it's just a totally different person when I don't sleep.
Yeah.
So I hate that you can sleep when you're dead. It's, bro, me getting the quality of sleep makes the quality of my life times 100.
Yeah,
Like, I
true,
hate that fucking quote.
Yeah, and then, dude, honestly, thinking back to that last question, that's probably the biggest thing that holds people back is their sleep, their quality of sleep,
Could be.
consistency.
Yeah.
Dude, that's huge, bro. That's why the Whoop is great.
Real quick, I remember I saw one of your Instagram posts. I really liked it a lot. It actually came from Cameron Haynes, who's another dog like a David Goggins.
Yeah.
But he goes, nobody cares, work harder.
Oh, yeah.
And I love your Instagram post
Dude,
about
yeah.
that. You're like, I fucking care, man. And like,
Yeah.
I'm still going to work hard. Or something like that. But I
Yeah,
really
bro,
like
dude,
that.
I'm gonna. That's probably the worst thing I've heard. Honestly, I think it's just an outdated quote. I think it's like the old way.
Yeah.
Because we're just taught, especially as men, bro. We're just taught to strap our boots and just go to work regardless. No one cares.
Yeah.
But I think it's just obviously it's a double-edged sword, right? You don't want to just work hard when you feel good, but you also don't want to keep everything in, right?
Yeah,
you want to have an outlet you want to have someone to talk to and
Facts.
talk about your mental health and stuff like that. But yeah, that's probably the worst, I would say. No one cares, work harder, because
I like that.
again, if you keep it in, I've done this myself. You just keep it in and keep it bottled up, you're gonna explode eventually. You're just gonna go off the rails. Like,
Or it happens in different ways, whether it's fucking freaking out your friends or family or girlfriend, or like the opposite way, like suppressing it just like through fucking whatever, drinking, drugs,
Yeah.
like whatever it is. Like it's going to be manifesting in some way.
yeah,
When you're not expressing it, getting it out, like it's happening in some way.
yeah. So that would be that, and just going back to the fixed mindset and like the too logical thinking, like that's not practical or that's not realistic. Stuff, not so much like advice, but just a way of thinking. Just if it's not practical in their world, like people will put that on you. They'll put their own self limitations in your world. So this kind of doesn't really answer your question, but just being very mindful of who you tell your ideas to, like having a circle where you can bounce ideas off, but just knowing how that person would perceive it, and just protecting yourself, bro. Like protecting your dreams, protecting your ideas. Because even if you know someone is like a naturally negative person or a naturally like practical person, even their input could subconsciously just like plant a seed in the back of your mind. Like you might think of it like down the road.
Yeah.
I mean,
I couldn't agree.
and another one, this is my third one,
Mm-hmm.
is like using haters as motivation. Like I think that I think you can use it as like maybe the launch pad, but like having an angle. If you're doing it, if you're thinking about like your haters like from 3 years ago, like that, you're living rent free in their head or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, they're living rent free in your head, and I think there's better motivators. Like,
100%. Yeah, I think
that's outdated.
I
Like, I think
like
you can
that.
use it as like motivation if you're like going through a tough rep and you're thinking about some dude that said something to you. But I just think it's overblown, and I think people they gas that up, and I really think people don't give a shit, to be honest with you. I think they're so consumed in their whole life, their own life, that they're not really even thinking about you. And if they are, it's a reflection of them.
Facts. Yeah.
Those are my three.
Bro, I'm on board with you 100%.
bro.
Yeah, especially when you said people project their fears onto you.
Yeah.
For example, like for travel, for example, doing the digital nomad thing. Oh, I'm going to Colombia. And it's like, what? Aren't you so scared about this and this?
Yeah.
And, you think I'm going to fucking let this hold any weight from someone who hasn't left the country before? No, bro. They're just projecting their fears onto you.
Yeah.
And same thing, business. I'm starting my own business. Oh, aren't you worried about this and this? It's again, you're projecting your fears onto me.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking hear it. So you're totally right, being super intentional with who you tell things
Exactly. And just having that, even that small group, because you do want to have some feedback. It can't always be positive, right? Because then you never grow, right? If you don't have people that you trust their opinion, like obviously those people should be above you or like equal to you.
Yeah.
But if you don't get any criticism, like how are you supposed to get better? If you're only thinking one way, like it's good to have those, again, select few people to make you think, like almost to be devil's advocate in some situations, just so like you can critically think things out.
Yeah,
I think it's super valuable.
Yeah.
Because I think it could, like too much positivity could be negative, honestly, sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, let's say it's like Let's exactly.
If you just got yes men around you. Like,
yeah, 100%. You're not gonna be growing anymore. Yeah, 100%. Even think about content or something.
Yeah.
It's like my one buddy Joey. He blew up on Instagram, doing really well, but he's always constantly asking for feedback on IG. He doesn't want you to just be like, yo, bro. And I do this actually. I tell him, like, bro, I fucking love the video because I did genuinely like it. But if I looked for areas for like feedback, like he'd want me to fucking tell him, like, yo, this is amazing, but maybe like you could try this or fix this, or I noticed this. Like he wants that shit. He wants to get better. He doesn't want yes man.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a really good point, bro.
And that's why, like when me and Brendan make content, he'll be like, "Do it again. Say it this way. Say it more natural. That was too forced." Like,
yeah, for sure.
You want that because we both want the same thing. We want good shit. We want good content.
Exactly.
But if you surround yourself with people that sugarcoat stuff or yes men, you're just gonna stay the same.
Yeah.
We all want to get better.
And I think a lot of that, even just real quick too, is like the feedback thing.
Yeah.
I've had to learn at getting better at feedback.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people still have to learn at getting better at feedback because they take when you say. Not like putting them down, oh, you shouldn't do this, but even have you ever thought about this way or this way, they take that as an attack on themselves because they struggle with the feedback.
Yeah, and
so
that
it's a skill.
It is. And that relates directly to fitness.
Yeah.
If your form's off on your RDL, like how can I get my point across without you getting like, why are you coming at me? Yeah. And that's what I learned from metabolic, the sandwich method, right? So I would compliment you first, like, yo, Brandon, you fucking you like your effort is you're crushing it, dude. Like, try just squeezing your lats back a little bit more and see how that feels, and then stay there. Yo, that's sick, dude. How's that feel? And like reassuring, 100%. Coming back to it, and I think that goes with anything, honestly. Yeah. But again, like it's a skill, like knowing who to listen to and who to not, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's trial and error, but you want to keep your circle small, but it's a layered question for sure.
No, yeah, bro, but it's a give and take, man. It's a fucking dance.
But I definitely seen people, especially in the content space, that they think like, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people think, and like they surround themselves with a lot of positivity and stuff, but they don't get better. You know what I mean? They're staying the same, and that's my worst fear is just staying the same, man. That's the worst feeling ever. Like when you feel stagnant, when you feel like you plateaued in life, not even like fitness, but just life. Like you feel like I've been the same. 4 months ago, I was in the same spot. Like,
and yo, just real quick, one way to recognize if you feel like you plateaued or like complacent is when you haven't gotten uncomfortable in a while. Yeah. Like because you haven't done something new. Yeah. Or like you've been on cruise control, autopilot, doing shit, and you haven't changed shit up in a while.
Especially in our space where we work for ourselves.
Yeah.
We gotta learn how to check ourselves. Yeah. And that's where having a mentor is key, or having a good support group around you that can check you. Yeah. Like where it's this. You don't have to sugarcoat anything. That's the type of people I want to be around. Like they can just tell me how it is right away. Yeah. And not have to worry about feelings and stuff. Like, because we all want the same. We all want to help each other out. Exactly. Yeah. But like you said, I think that's an adjustment. Like working for yourself is where can I get that? Where can I get that feedback? Yeah. So. Yeah. Because you don't have a boss over your head. Like you make your own schedule. You know. Exactly. Yeah. Bro, I totally agree. All right, man. The last one to you. Last question. So again, it's called the Freedom Seekers Podcast here, bro. What does freedom mean to you, and what would you do with that? Freedom is everything, bro. Yeah. Freedom means everything to me. And that's why I kind of took the leap of faith and went into online coaching. I wanted freedom to create my own schedule, freedom to do what I want, freedom to build what I want. Yeah. I want to look back and over a set time and look what I built. And I feel like you only get that if you're. I mean, there's nothing wrong working for a company and building the company up. There's nothing wrong with that, but freedom is everything to me because, like, I want to get to a point where I can just do whatever I want. You know, like just not have to worry about money, not have to worry about if it makes sense. If I want to get backpack and go somewhere and work in California or work in Texas or whatever, I can do that. So that's everything for me. What was the second question? Oh, what would you do with it? What do you do with freedom? Just experience, just live life, man. Experience everything you want to experience. Try to leave no stone untouched. Try to be. I'm saying try again. I gotta check myself. That's how you call yourself, bro. Be fulfilled as possible. Do everything that I want. So I would say it's everything to me, man. Hell yeah. What about you? Right on, bro. Yeah, no, it's number one value, man. Yeah. I feel like first and foremost, it's a feeling. Feeling free mentally for me is number one overall because it doesn't matter where you are in the world, what you're doing. If you're in a prison mentally, with all these like self-limiting constraints, like you're never gonna feel actually free. Mm-hmm. So I think it's number one. It starts in the mind. Free your mind, yeah. But after that, bro, after you free your mind and you believe in limitless possibilities, limitless opportunities that life literally we can't even fathom, bro. I'm not even kidding. We cannot even fathom
what is possible in our lives. Like when
Mhm.
we say, yo, the sky's the limit type shit, it's not even that. It's more than that.
Yeah.
We can't even fathom what actually is fucking possible for us in our lives. So starting there, number one. But then all these different respects of freedom, bro, like the physical freedom, like we said, to have that energy, vitality, to feel good on a daily basis, having that career freedom. I want to work when I want, on what I want, from where I want, with who I want. Super, super important, those aspects and respects, the freedom to create my own schedule, freedom to live exactly where I want. And then lifestyle freedom, like doing the things that I want to do in my life. Like I have all these hobbies and interests and passions, and so like to be able to do those things is absolutely priceless. And I will fucking die on this road to create this for my life, because once you have a taste of this type of life, of this type of freedom, I think it's almost impossible to go back to the office.
Yeah.
When you
want more,
when
man.
you felt this freedom.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, it's my number one value. Super important.
Love
bro.
that, brother.
Oh my God, that's all I got for you, bro. Dude, I genuinely appreciate your time so much, bro.
Appreciate
This
you
is a
too, bro.
banger. Where can people find you, bro? If they want to work with Andrew Holmes online, where can they find you and hit
So
you
you
up,
can
bro?
find me on Instagram at Andrew Holmes Fit. That's at Andrew Holmes with a L Fit. You can get all the information on there. I got a link in my bio to fill out a questionnaire. If you want to work with me, check out my content. See if you learned something, let me know. Shoot me a DM. And yeah, man, that's it.
Hell yeah. All right,
Love
yo.
it, bro.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah,
Let's do
homie.
it again sometime, bro. For real.
Absolutely, dog.
Hell yeah. Jeez. That was fire.
How long was it?
About hour 15.
Bet. All right, yeah. Usually